Are you excited for Hilltop Christmas?
We are.
Yeah.
You are. You guys are putting a lot of effort. I mean, every year you guys put a lot of effort into getting these kids to, I feel like majority of it's just, hey, the fears, let that go away, just have fun, So what does that look like?
They, getting on stage is not easy for adults, let alone kids. For most of them, a lot of them think that they're excited to be on stage, and then they get up there and you can see that they kind of start shutting down. So it's really cool to see the past couple years I've been able to be on stage with them, and that has calmed a lot. So we have a lot of pre-K, even kindergartners who are now willing to get up and speak because I'll be standing right next to them. And even the ones who can't read, I'm right there and I feed them their lines, but they get that opportunity to get up in front of this crowd and kind of overcome those fears.
Yeah.
Just having somebody next to them. So it's really cool to see them. Parents are like, what? They're gonna talk? I don't think they're gonna do it. I'm like, yeah, they got this. They're fine.
Yeah.
So it's exciting to see them overcome that and see that it is okay and it is exciting.
Yeah. You spoke about fear, and it was like when VBS was around and I knew I had to play a person from there, I was terrified. Even though I play on the worship team, I'm still terrified because it's by myself. If I make a mistake, I'm with other people. I'm like, I'll just hide behind them.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was none of that. Well, Brittany and Stephanie, thank you guys for joining me on Deep Dive today. This is Wednesday. We have Hilltop Christmas coming up. Can you both tell us what the mission behind the Hilltop Christmas program and how it aligns with sharing the gospel year round?
Okay, so year round, we talk about the gospel back in Hilltop and how important it is to go out and share the good news, to tell our friends, family, people at Walmart. Just it's a constant. We're supposed to be good examples and to lead others to Christ. And so the program kind of wraps all that into one, getting up on stage and getting to talk about Jesus, to get to tell the Christmas story, but then also all of our songs are biblically based.
Mm-hmm.
There's words straight from the Bible in them. So it's repetitive and it's getting into their memory. And it's just, there's all different ways to be able to share the gospel and to tell others. So it's a cool way for them to get up and actually put that faith and everything into action.
Mm-hmm. It's really cool because, it's better to have those songs coming out because everything that they're singing about is biblically based. And, there's a lot of songs out there that when people sing them, they don't really even know what the words are actually meaning sometimes. And even secular music where those words can mean a whole lot of different things. So.
Yeah, exactly.
The Christmas program provides kids with the opportunity to perform. Why do you think it's important for children to have this experience? And does it relate to the teachings in Proverbs about training children?
I think Proverbs teaches us a lot about instruction and wisdom in teaching them. And so them being able to get up there and practice and rehearse their lines and just being a part of the program. There's kids that don't have lines, but they're singing and they're still standing up there. And then the parents bringing them to all the rehearsals and practices.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned parents and they play a big role in this process. So how do you encourage parents to support their kids in participating in Hilltop Christmas?
So just them coming, bringing their kids, showing them when they come to a practice, making that a priority, and them coming and making it and showing them that this is important. Them practicing at home with their kids. So it's not just something they do at church, but something they work on together as a family. They practice their lines or the songs, either when they're in the car or when they're at home. So it kind of brings all that together and how we want to partner as the church with the families. And it kind of brings those things together.
Bringing
a good example.
Bringing the program home. And then they're also experiencing God in those moments too.
Yeah.
So it's a great time for them to build that together. Were you going to say something?
I think just basing off of what she said, how we utilize the like the app to be able to provide that, and that a lot of the parents wouldn't know the songs that they're learning back here on a Sunday or Wednesday, but being able to have it given to them so they can practice at home helps too.
Yeah. Yeah, Stephanie, that's a good point. Cause like sometimes, like even for myself, I'm like, some of these songs, I'm like, I've never even heard these songs before, but like, yeah, these songs are pretty good, but they're like Hilltop or not Hilltop, Hillsong Kids.
Mhm.
There's like a whole avenue for kids just, so I think that's really cool. So actually this kind of goes to, because you two both serve tremendously for the church. So why do you think being an active member of the church is crucial for both individuals and the community?
The first thing that came to mind was that when we have people coming every single week, you get to see people that you might not see. And then we have new people who come and visit the church and they're like, oh, like I recognize you from school, or I recognize you from town. And so it's just setting that example of being a regular member and being involved in the church, and other people are seeing how you're living your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of making that connection between church and the community, just outliving our lives day to day. Like we teach them to be a good example, that our words and our actions should lead others to Jesus. And so when people come, and especially like for the program, there's a lot of people that may come that typically don't go to church or whatever, but getting them to come, and it's something different and exciting, but seeing maybe people around town or whatever, like she said, kind of connects those two, and it like maybe doesn't seem so overwhelming or intimidating to come into the church building.
Yeah, you're building that familiarity. I think I'm getting tongue-tied here, but you see a face that you recognize, and you're more like, oh, okay, those nerves can kind of calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
So kind of like before I came in, I was like, okay, I see them, I'm good. But actually, I'm kind of getting hot. Anyway, a little hot in here. I probably should have kept that door open. So when the kids are up there and they're singing, we can see how they are responding off the energy from their peers. But how do you think the congregation responds when they see the kids lead worship?
Hopefully that they're inspired by the kids just getting up there and singing with their whole heart. Like they're not worried about what other people are thinking, and they have that childlike faith that they can belt it out whether they can sing or not. Like they're not worried about that. They're just worshiping God. And so as adults sitting out there, sometimes we get worried about, can someone hear us? And so we might not do that. So hopefully like they're inspired by the kids being up there in their worship too.
Yeah.
It's cool to see the kids as that example, because I know as adults, we typically don't want to get on stage and sing or speak or anything like that. So to see kids getting up there and facing those things, like it's cool. And I think it's just uplifting for the church. It's cool. And we are so blessed to be able to have a kids ministry and classes and lessons tailored to their ages, but also for us to be able to come out and us all be out there together. I think is just a cool experience, and like everybody enjoys like just us all being together and sharing something as a whole church.
Yeah, absolutely. Brittany, you said something about the church. Well, Stephanie and Brittany, both of you said something about when the congregation is looking at the children singing, they're able to let down a lot of those walls that they're kind of hiding behind, or even like, that's like their guard, because people may hear them and that's their thoughts, and like, well, what if they hear me sing or whatnot, and Jesus teaches us to be like children with our faith, which it kind of dawned on me the other day, and I was thinking about it, and it was like, children live almost like the anxiety is not even in their minds. They have no fear. There's none of this anxious thought. It's just they're in it in the moment, and they're not thinking about all the extra layers of things that we as adults do. And so it's kind of, when you said that, it made me think about, I literally just had that thought the other day about, man, I was like, is that what that means to be a childlike with faith?
We could
like
all have that childlike faith.
Yeah. So my last question is, looking ahead, what are your hopes for Hilltop Christmas program and its impact on children and the church community in the coming years?
So I hope it continues, just build, just to set that good example to like empower and other kids, more kids to step out of their comfort zones. We know that living for God isn't always a comfortable, easy thing, that most of the time when God is calling you to do something, it's out of your comfort zone. So getting more comfortable in the uncomfortable, even as adults, we struggle with that. It's nice just to be comfy.
Yeah.
So I think every year, I hope it more and more start to step out and more community comes to see them and support them, and that they can just lead by that example, and that more and more that leads into their daily lives of, okay, I was nervous, but I did it, and look how I feel. Like, that was cool. I got up there, I faced it, I got to tell people about Jesus. I'm like, oh, now this person is coming to church, and now this person wants to step out and have a speaking part. And so seeing that when we do follow God's leading, that even though it may be scary or uncomfortable, like good things will come from it. Like, it's worth it to face our fears. So I hope every year is kind of like a domino effect. It continues throughout their lives.
Yeah. That's all well said.
Yeah.
So when can we expect to see the children do the Hilltop Christmas?
This Sunday, both services, 9 and 10:30, they will be on stage performing. Hopefully both the kids will stay and perform at both services.
Okay. Awesome.
Second service is a little bit more lively than the first, typically, because they've already done it once and are a little bit more comfortable up there. So if you want more of a show, second service is typically the one to attend.
That'll be awesome. Thank you, Brittany. Thank you, Stephanie, for doing Deep Dive. And if you see Brittany and Stephanie walking around, be sure to say hello and thank you for you two serving. I see you all the time, both of you in the back, and you guys are just handling the crowds of kids and the parents when they come in. So I thank you both.
Thank you.
So, all right. Normally, what I'll have everyone do is 1, 2, 3. That's Deep Dive. So
we say that or we clap?
We just clap.
Okay.
So 3, 2, 1.